is mind, body and soul. So there are two incidents which I would like to take. One from Ramayana and one from Mahabharata. So there was a time when Sita was dropped at the Tamasa river, and she was dropped by Lakshmana, and then Lakshmana didn't turn back, and then we all know that. This was the second incident which happened to her. I don't know if you agree or disagree. You know, she was not probably not treated well or whatever it is by Lord Sri Ram, and she didn't make a fuss about it. She said, "Okay, I'm going to be here," and then she continued with her life. Now, the second thing what I would like to ask you, there's a very interesting story in Mahabharata when Ashwatthama comes inside. He kills the children of Draupadi, the Pandavas, and Draupadi fumes. She says that, I can't, I would like to get his head. But then finally when the Pandavas bring Ashwatthama, she either, I don't know if she forgot or she says, let him go. She probably forgave him. So these two incidents when you take, obviously you can't answer on behalf of Sita and Draupadi. How do you handle this, Dushyath? Like for example, when the Agni Pravesha happened for Sita, she could have just left. She could have told him that, listen dude, I can't live with you. Or likewise, Draupadi was in so much of anger. What happens in most of the times when we face such situations, it's very easy for, I'm sorry to say, you can come give discourses and say that, just stay calm, mind, body and soul. Just give me a perspective of these two characters. What happened? You have 10 minutes.
So, questions were posed about two patrams. One is Sita, a very, very strong, influential patram from Srimad Ramayanam. And second was posed about Draupadi from Sri Mahabharatam. First, with respect to Sita, I've been telling this time and again, Sita doesn't need an advocate. She is a wonderful speaker and she can handle her cases on her own. Even on pro bono, she doesn't need. That said, when Rama was 24 and was just beginning with the 25th year, and Sita was 18, that is when he was ordained to go to the forest for 14 years on an exile. While he conveys his decision of going to the forest, leaving Sita back in Ayodhya, Sita says, I'm not staying here. I will come with you. Rama tries convincing, stating that there are wild beasts and you'll have to live on fruits and tubers, you'll have to go on a complete keto diet and all of that. Sita says, do you think life here is better? I have mothers-in-law here. Not mother, mothers-in-law. So rather I would live with you. She begins. While convincing Rama, she says, Kim tvam anyata vaidehaha pitame mithilaadipaha ramajamataram prapya striyam purusha vigraham. It is a blunder of my father for having gotten me married to a man who is in the disguise of a woman. Striyam purusha vigraham. He says, you can come with me. Very bold. While she was abducted and returned, Rama asks Vibhishana to escort her to the Sabha Mantapam in Lanka, he says, you will have to prove your chastity. Immediately we will fume. See, is this the way? That is why we say we should be talking about such issues. While she was abducted, just before she was abducted, while Lakshmana said, do not worry, nothing would have happened to my brother Rama, she says, despite me telling you to go and assist your brother, if you're not going, I suspect your intent of having served me for 13 years. You have been waiting till your brother leaves this place so that you can enjoy a relationship with me. This comes in Aranya Kanda. Whether you malign the woman or the man, a malignment is the same. So while Rama's love for Sita had not diminished, his sincerity in rescuing her from the clutches of Ravana had not waded away, as an administrator, he was duty bound to punish the person of wrongly maligning another person. Even if it meant his wife was to be punished, so be it. Just because my family is involved in corruption, it doesn't mean corruption can never be questioned. Just because it is Sita who has maligned Lakshmana, it is not that I cannot question. Remember, had Rama done that with the real intent of maligning her, Sita was so strong enough to say that I will go back to Nepal, I don't need to stay with you. She was not a subservient woman. She was a very bold woman who had a mind of her own. Yet she did so. So the first case of Agni Pariksha doesn't feature here at all. That was a reply and a retort to her maligning Lakshmana. Coming to the second part, where she was exiled to the forest while she was in her first trimester, even many of the traditional acharyas have said Rama could have thought and given this decision. But why was this decision given? Narayana Bhattadri in the 35th Dashaka, last shlokam of Sriman Narayanam, composed in the 16th century, states, Atita attachment to dharma, over attachment to dharma, will also end up making a few errors. In the course of driving well, by putting an indicator and also showing one's hand, will not serve the purpose because the indicator is on. Just to be a stickler to rules doesn't mean you'll have to overdo it. So in the case of Sita being sent on an exile to the forest while she was pregnant, Acharyas have agreed that Rama's over-attachment could have caused this. And they have always sided with Sita, be it Bhavabhuti of Uttara Ramacharitram, be it Vedanta Deshika in Paduka Sahasram, be it Narayana Bhattadri, Narayaniyam at different points in time. Just because we are not cognizant of the language or the scriptures in which it is rendered, it doesn't mean that this is something where Rama has made a mistake. It means that his over-attachment has caused this, so administrators should read the rules properly. This is all. The topic can be concluded. Had Sita taken it in the topsy-turvy manner, she wouldn't have asked her sons to go back to Ayodhya and rule Ayodhya. She was a very strong woman. 1. 2. Coming back to Draupadi. Draupadi's childhood is absent because she emerged from the fire. Kumari chapi panchali vedi madhya samuttita shubhaga darshaniyangi vedi madhya manorama shyama padmapala shakshi. So she emerged from the fires. So she didn't have a childhood going to the school and having chat with her girls, nothing of that sort. She was born and her father got her married in 2 days. So she barely had any time to spend with her father's house. That said, she underwent a lot in her life. She was humiliated in the middle of the sabha while she was menstruating. Ekavastra Rajaswala. While the menstrual blood was flowing across the floor is when she was brought to the sabha mantapam, says Vyasa. She was humiliated. She was humiliated for no reason. She was pawned wrongly. She was questioned wrongly. Everything that can go wrong with her went. That said, coming to the last stage where the war was fought, one of the main reasons for fighting the war was to restore justice to this humiliated woman. During the last days of the war, in the Sauktantika Parva, Ashwathama, the son of Drona, to impress upon Duryodhana, goes and shoots arrows, assuming that they were the Pancha Pandavas and the 5 sons born to the Pandavas to Draupadi. The next day, they get to see the Times of Hastinapura paper. I think Mojo was asked this question, whether you like TOI or the Hindu. So, when the Times of Hastinapura was Hindu, so he saw that the 5 sons of Draupadi were killed. Draupadi says that whoever has committed this act should be brought to justice. So he was dragged. Ashwathama was dragged. That is when Draupadi says you should not be killing him. Take away his shikha, because in those days it was believed that the shikha, the tuft which is preserved, if taken, if chopped off, means that the person is beheaded. You don't have to behead the person. Even a devout Sikh today believes that you should not be without the turban. So his tuft was taken and it was equivalent to beheading. It was his head was not taken away. And then she says, I cannot punish him because he is your guru's son. We have to follow dharma here. So to your question as to why she was aggressive and ferocious, I always say Mahabharata's Draupadi is very aggressive and ferocious. Srimad Bhagavatam's Draupadi is a lot more seasoned and calm. So we have to see Draupadi in two parts, part 1, part 2. This is the land that has given Bahubali 1 and 2, right? So similarly, we have got a part 1 and part 2 to Draupadi. Part 1 of Mahabharata, very aggressive. Part 2 is very, very seasoned that we see. That's why she is forgiven Ashwathama. So I think I've answered your question in about 14 minutes, 4 minutes extra. Thank you.